Hello and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Rob. I'm your host, Rob. On today's episode, we're going to be tackling my new favorite stir-fry recipe. It's a cashew tofu stir-fry, and it's going to be delicious. Let's take a look at some of the ingredients that we're going to need today. For our stir-fry sauce, we're going to need soy sauce, maple syrup, rice vinegar, cornstarch, ground ginger, and a clove of garlic. For the rest of the recipe, we'll need some salt, maybe a little pepper, a cup of roasted or raw cashews, up to you, an entire head of broccoli, because we love broccoli. We want all that goodness up in here. Red or orange or yellow bell pepper, whatever suits your fancy. I think it calls for red pepper, but I've got an orange one, so that's going in there today. And a small red onion. You can tell this red onion was huge, and I've been working away at it now. I've got about the size of a small red onion left. One block of extra firm tofu. And up to you what you want to put the stir fry on. If you prefer rice, feel free to use rice. I'm a noodle guy myself, so today I'm going to be using some tasty chow mein noodles. Okay, that's everything that we're going to need to get started. I'm going to set a few things up, and I'll see you in a second. The first thing we're going to start working with today is our tofu. For a long time I was scared of tofu. I mean, what is it really? It's a little bit intimidating. But it tastes good when cooked properly, so I forced myself to learn how to handle it. And the first thing one must do when preparing tofu is get all of the water out of this block of soy. So what you're going to want to do is place a paper towel layer underneath, paper towel layer on top, rest a large cutting board on top of the tofu, and then we need something to press down on the tofu so that the water slowly escapes from the block of soy. Now, if you're a fitness professional or a fitness enthusiast, you probably have a dumbbell lying around somewhere. Dumbbell works well for this, as long as we get it balanced right. So just find the center of gravity. There we go. We're gonna let that set for about 15 minutes at least to get all that water out. While you're waiting for your chunk of soy to let all its water out, you can work on other things. I have made my stir-fry sauce in the last few minutes. So to create the stir-fry sauce, refer to your ingredients for that one, but just to run through them again, it's 1/3 cup soy sauce, 1/3 cup water, 3 tablespoons maple syrup, 2 tablespoons rice vinegar, 1 tablespoon cornstarch, 1.5 teaspoon ground ginger, and 1 minced garlic. And we're going to want to whisk that all together because this cornstarch will clump. We can do it a little bit now, and then of course we'll do it again before we add it to our stir fry. Still waiting on that tofu to press, so I'm going to work on prepping my veggies. So all the veggies are going to go in at the same time, so we can prep them and just throw all of them in the same bowl. First I'm going to get started with some thinly sliced red onion. Next, the bell pepper. finally, the broccoli. Want to make sure we're in bite-sized pieces here, not too big. Little chunks. Or however you like it. Some people like bigger chunks, I guess. I like small chunks. Well, I think it's been long enough for our tofu to drain. Let's take this weight off. Do a few curls. Alright, that's enough of that. Put that down. Let's see how she's looking. Oh yes, very good. Definitely looking drier. What we're going to want to do now is slice this into our chunks that we are going to use in our stir fry. We're going to go once right down the center on its end. And then from there, we're just going to cut into cubes, maybe 1 inch across each way. Just be careful, you always want to be gentle when working with tofu. It can be a little bit particular, be a little fussy. From there, across. And you can see what we end up with, these little cube pieces, which we're now going to coat in a little dressing and then fry them up. Okay, so I've got all my chunks of tofu in a bowl. I'm gonna measure out 1 tablespoon olive oil and coat them up in the oil. Yum. Okay, next. Another tablespoon of cornstarch. Sprinkle that over. And a generous pinch or dash of salt and pepper. Go wild. And we're gonna coat that up. Okay, so I've got a tablespoon of oil heating up on medium-high. It's time to fry up my tofu. So you're gonna wanna leave a little bit of space between each cube. So we might not get them all in the first batch, we'll see. We're only cooking them for about 3 minutes on each side. We'll flip halfway through. Just enough to get them crispy. I always prefer a crispy tofu cube to a mushy one. Ooh, listen to that sizzle. Halfway through, and I am painfully flipping the cubes. Once you see that they're crispy on both sides, it's time to take them out. And we're just going to set them off to the side so that they're ready to be added once we get our stir fry going, which is going to happen next. the oil dry if you want. There we go. Okay, now it's time to get the stir fry going. So we're gonna add a little bit more oil back into the pan. Dump in all of our prepped veggies. I'll get those sauteing now for about 5 minutes or until crisp tender. Also, at the same time I've started to boil my water for my noodles. While my veggies are sauteing, sometimes I like to get a little pump going. Oh, another set finished. And after every set, we stir. Okay, the veggies are crisp tender. More importantly, I've finished my bicep workout. Now it's time to add the rest of the ingredients for the stir fry. So I've got my cup of cashews. Dump those in. Then my tofu that I've already cooked. Gonna add that. And then I've whisked up my sauce. Want to make sure you whisk it so there's no chunks of cornstarch in there. Whisk it up. And then we're gonna pour that in. Give it a good stir, and we're going to cook for an additional couple minutes, and you're going to want to cook it just until you see the sauce start to thicken up. Alright, so the last thing to do is cook my noodles. You can see it's 3-minute chow mein that I'm using today. And the water is boiling, so we're ready to add those in. My stir fry is ready, so all I'm waiting on now is the noodles. I'm going to pop those in. Set a timer for 3 minutes, and they should be done. We'll strain them and then serve. Look at that beautiful stir fry. My noodles are done too, and I've got them ready in the bowls. So all that's left is to serve this yummy food up. Serve me up. There we go, and of course, for a little bit of flair, get some sesame seeds on top of that. An excellent garnish for a stir fry. And there we go. Cashew tofu stir fry. Well, this concludes another episode of Cooking with Rob. I'm gonna run because I want to eat that. It looks delicious. I will see you next time. Until then, have a good one.